On today's episode, we meet with Sam Rapke, co-founder of My Learning Online, the Australian Beauty School and the Canadian Beauty School. Sam's story is one you'll really want to hear. It's a true startup fairy tale. 4 partners starting a business together in a garage. Today, the business has close to 100 staff. It's currently going through an exciting overseas expansion. Tune in. Can't wait for you to listen. Welcome to The Leap, a business journeys podcast where we dive deep into the journey of business owners to learn from their successes and failures. Our goal is a simple one: to help more businesses succeed. Sam, welcome to the podcast, mate.
Thanks for having me.
A bit different to what we're usually used to. We usually at the casino.
Yeah.
So that's where we usually have our D&Ms over dinner at the castle, something like that.
Gotta have some fun.
Love it, man. Love it. So, mate, I'm really keen to sort of dive deep into your business journey. Obviously, have a bit of a chat about My Learning Online, my beauty school, Australian Beauty School.
Yeah.
My Beauty School, My Learning Online, My Beauty School. But mate, you've had a really incredible journey, and I've always loved every time we've caught up, understanding what you've been through before, previous business ventures, and obviously the business that's scaled into something that's really incredible and essentially a market leader. So, mate, tell us a little bit about the business.
Yeah, sure. So Learning Online, we got started in 2019. It was April 2019, with the mission to become Australia's best short course provider. With Learning Online, we had a number of different courses that we were offering across many different verticals. So when we got started, it's a classic startup story. We had 5 people all working from one of my business partners' grandfather's garages in Kew, which was cool. Still the best office we ever had. And yeah, effectively we were in the business of offering short courses to the marketplace. We saw an opportunity. We thought that education was changing, and no longer did people have to necessarily take the traditional path of going to TAFE or university to actually get an outcome and get themselves into a position where they're entering the job market in an area that they're really passionate about. While there's obviously a place for that education, there certainly still is, but we just noticed that, there was this huge opportunity for people that wanted to study smaller, shorter courses that could get them into work effectively. So the types of courses that we're offering when we got started were in things like animal care, photography, farming and agriculture, landscaping, a whole range of different short courses. And very early on, we noticed that there was a huge amount of demand for those courses, and that's what sort of saw us achieve the growth that we enjoy today.
And the feedback, I've never seen better reviews from students that have gone through. Like, I think you guys are almost a perfect 5-star, 1,500 reviews, 4.9, 5 stars
right.
on Trustpilot.
4.9.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, 4.9 across Learning Online and the Australian Beauty School. And recently we've delved into Canada as well, which I think we're also rated 4.9, hopefully 5. Yeah. But yeah, no, we're committed to delivering a good product. We've got tutors that help us with our education, with the delivery of the education, and they're all industry experts, right? So they're not individuals that have been put into the business with like a trainer, an assessor, or something like that. These are skilled individuals who have a background in the areas that we're teaching. And our students obviously get a lot off the back of that. And I think that's what has contributed in a big way to that 5 or 4.9 star rating.
Sorry. So it's not, because I guess traditionally with some of the businesses that we've worked with that are, I guess, your traditional education businesses, it's, you get the course material. If you need help, there might be a place to reach out, but it's quite interactive.
Yeah, that's right. And only getting more interactive as time goes on. You know, like any business, we had limited resources at the start, and we did absolutely everything that we could to deliver the education in the best way that we possibly could. But obviously, as we grow and we learn more and are able to allocate more resources, that that tutor model has gotten better and better and better. So 6 days a week, our students can get in touch with our tutors, and that can be in the form of a phone call, it can be email, it can be Zoom call, we'll FaceTime, you know, whatever the student sort of needs in order to get the most out of their education. That's what we endeavour to deliver. So, yeah, that's something that we're really proud of as well, is just continuing to invest you know, in the actual delivery of the education.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And you guys are up to 90-something staff?
Yeah, 94, and I'd say probably 5 or 6 of those, I don't have the exact numbers obviously in front of me, but 5 or 6 of those would be offshore, with the balance here in Australia mainly, and 12 of those, 12 or 13, are in Canada, in Toronto.
Yeah, when did Canada kick off? How long ago?
Yeah, so we were dialing into Canada from Australia. Effectively, we were trying to make sure that, you know, what we were offering here in Australia was actually going to translate into Canada, because you have to get a lot right in order for it to be viable and be, you know, successful for both the business and the students. And so we were running a graveyard shift into Canada. So we would sort of run from 8 a.m. in the morning through to when we'd sort of finish up of an evening, which would probably be around 7:30, 8 o'clock, depending on which department you work in and what time you start work and which region you're dialing into. And then I think it was at about midnight until 8 a.m. The Australian staff dialing into Canada would commence their shift. Wow. And so that was really just a testing phase, trying to understand, you know, everything that we can about the market, really everything. And then once we firmed it up and we said, okay, we think we've got a real case to sort of, you know, say burn the boats and go over, that's when we started organising all the visas and everything like that. Jason, who is one of the business partners and founders, and the sales director, he's now living in Toronto, and we've got maybe I think we had 5 staff from Australia move over there permanently.
Yeah, I can't believe so many people put their hand up to go over there.
Yeah. It was inspiring, you know, because people are bought in to the company, and we can see the impact that we're having. And to be able to do it again, you know, sort of again from scratch.
Except
into
for now,
market.
you can test though, right?
Yeah.
That's the incredible thing. You can replicate, you know, the same thing that's worked here, and now you can test it with dialing from here, and you know that it's all right. This is going to work.
That's right. Yeah, there was a lot of lessons that we carried over, which was really nice. You know, you get the excitement of starting again and the excitement of building something from really nothing, but you don't have to learn every single lesson the hard way, you know, because we've learned a lot of them here.
Yeah, which I'm super keen to explore in the early days, what those lessons were. Talk to me, I guess, in terms of like the goals, the aspirations, like where are we going to be in, you know, 3 years, 5 years? What do you think we'll see from the business?
Yeah, it's a good question. We effectively, our mission is to deliver life-changing education, and we just want to keep being able to change the status quo of education, sort of leading into what I was describing before. That hasn't changed for us. If anything, the sort of the growth of our business has demonstrated that our belief that education is changing is very much felt by the market as well, right? So we want to continue to build out new courseware, so building out new courses, getting access to new tutors and talent that can deliver those courses. We want to improve, constantly improve the the courses that we're offering.
Give us a sneak peek, any new sort of bits of any new courses, any new bits of content or delivery strategies for those courses that you can.
Yeah. Well, one of the big ones, actually, it's interesting sitting on the podcast with yourself, and obviously, there's a bit of a content play occurring in your business, and similarly for us, we've launched a podcast recently called Behind the Beauty, which is all around our beauty school businesses, and one of the great things that we've been able to do is we've built out a content team, right? So in our office, we've got a content room, which has been fitted out for us to be able to very quickly and easily shoot new content.
I should have come down the podcast.
Could have done the podcast there.
Jesus, pause there,
guys. Could have had
guys.
The branding in the background and everything, Yeah.
Win-win.
But yeah, we've filled out that fitted out that content room, not just to produce marketing material, but make addendums to courses, right? Or sort of have this augmentation. So if you can imagine you've signed up to study a course with us, it might be eyelash lift and tin, or it might be eyelash extensions, where new trends are coming up all the time and new ways of doing things are popping up all the time. And so we want to be at the bleeding edge of that. And so if you've studied and signed up to study that course with us, perhaps the course is sort of where it is, and we can't update that every single week, but what we can do is get in and sort of shoot this additional content that would be supplementary to the course, and that would just continue to be supplied to the students, for no charge. So I think that's a big one. That's a real value enhancement that people will get out of it, but also too seeing other technicians at work, right? Because and I'm just learning this as well. As I'm no beauty expert per se myself.
You look gorgeous.
but every tech has a different way of doing things, a different style. So being able to capture that and filter in that inspiration to our students. We've recently just launched like communities that they're able to participate in, a whole range of different stuff, more video,
you can
more
pivot
interactive
so quickly.
stuff.
That's what I love about this version and your business. I guess with traditional education, from my perspective, you see, like there's so much regulation that by the time they refresh a course or an area of interest to people like that, it's probably not of interest anymore.
Yeah, you got to. That's the thing. You got to move fast. Yeah. Like particularly with the likes of Instagram and TikTok, these trends are popping up super quick. So you either get on them or you don't.
Yeah.
But people are crying out for it, and yeah, we're not perfect at it yet, but we're always looking to get better. All of our beauty courses come with kits, the practical tools that people need to be able to study the course, and we've recently just revamped every kit. Every single kit has just taken the whole next step up, and the feedback on them has been fantastic. So it's for us, it's always just looking at ways we can do things better. And making sure that we can scale it, and ideally, hopefully, we can get into more markets as well. There's Australia, we're in New Zealand, got Canada. It's like, how far can we take it?
Yeah, that is so exciting.
Yeah.
How do you know, like in terms of, looking at the breadth of courses you have available at the moment? Like I think it's across 11, 12 different industries at the moment. How do you know what to do next? Like, how do you keep track of market trends or what course might be of interest to people?
Yeah, it's tough. I'm actually not the expert to ask. Put
him on the spot.
That's Jules, who's one of the founders, one of our directors as well, head of product.
Yeah.
So he does a lot of research into sort of the products that we should be getting into next. Like for instance, we've just most recently launched a floristry course. And there's a few, obviously we're trying to get into courses and offerings where we're not competing with RTOs, right? We're not offering courses in areas that you must have a government qualification and a government accreditation in order to obtain a job. That's sort of like a big thing for us, is when we're looking at offering courses to the market, it's like, what are the prerequisites to get a job? We want these certificates to get people outcomes. Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems, from speaking to, people that have been through the courses and reading all the reviews as well, like it seems like it's much more geared towards, almost people being able to start their own businesses.
Totally.
Off the back of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the case for like a lot of the courses. So things like photography, that's a big one for business. Dog grooming is huge for people wanting to start their own business. And obviously all of the beauty courses that we offer, most of the time, these individuals who are looking to study with us are looking to start their own home salon.
Cool.
And from there, once they've sort of gone and taken that step, the next step is, they ask themselves the question, do they want to actually get a premises and, expand? But yeah, certainly those individuals who are looking to start their own business get a lot of value out of these courses. Yeah.
Cool. I think it's really interesting, right? You look at, 90, what do we say, 95, 96 staff. I can't picture myself ever being at that number. Like, it seems like a big number. Looking, like, hearing it out loud, did you ever think when you guys started that you'd be at this size, expanding into other countries? Like,
nah, I don't think so. And I can only speak for myself. There's a lot of ambitious people in the business, and look, we this is always the place that we wanted to end up in. We want to go further, right?
Yeah.
But it's probably further than I had initially thought. But it's interesting because, like, in some ways, we feel bigger, but then in other ways, the entrepreneurial spirit is still there. We're still trying new things. We're very much like, there's so many people involved in the decision making that goes on within the business, which is really exciting. So no, I don't think I expected to be here as such, but happy that we're here. Yeah.
One thing you mentioned, like, people have bought into the vision, and I love touching base with people that we've put into your business and hearing how much they enjoy working there. I've seen people progress into leadership positions within the business.
Yeah.
What do you guys do? Like, how do you get it so right?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's a testament to the leadership group, and that extends beyond the directors, right, and the founders. We've got a really solid senior leader cohort and capability there that I think our people management is some people would say it's great. Other people would say, maybe not for them. It's quite high touch. We're doing one-to-ones with most of the members of the team every single week. We do as much as we can to try and facilitate like a fun environment, an inspiring environment.
What's some of the fun things you guys do?
Oh, like there's all the usual stuff like Christmas parties and annual awards nights and things like that.
I see a petting zoo one day on someone's Instagram. Was that something I saw?
Yeah, because we're in animal care, we brought like what were they called? I can't remember, but they were really interactive. Like, brought an owl out, it was flying around the office. It was full on. A little alligator, like the whole works.
So that's hard to beat.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and
unless you have bird phobias.
Unless
they probably won't put those people forward.
Right. I've done a few hikes as well, like Mount Feathertop. That was a really nice hike. Just a lot of team building stuff.
Yeah.
We enjoy the company of each other. So I think, and a commitment to it. Everybody's coming in, and we've got something to really get after.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go back in time. Might feel a while ago. So you started off in real estate, then went into a buyer's agency.
That's right.
And talk to me from that point. You had your first stab at a venture.
Yeah. So I was working at the time as a buyer's advocate for a Melbourne-based company, and I loved it. really enjoyed that role. Effectively, like what we were doing was going out and buying established real estate all across Melbourne and helping people build their investment property portfolios. And I'd maintained a relationship with a colleague that I worked in real estate with in actual residential sales at another company prior to that, and he was into tech, and we would always sort of just maintain contact, and he had been working on an idea. Effectively, what it was to create individual property websites for real estate listings, right? So one like www.123fakestreetcollingwood.com. And he showed it to me and he sort of pitched the idea of, there's probably a business in this. At the time, I didn't really get it. Because I was thinking, well, there's realestate.com, there's domain. At the time, there was a whole lot of sort of underlying reasons why it was a good idea that I just didn't understand, which is all around SEO and things like that. And he introduced me to that idea. I'd always just wanted to have a crack at something myself or with somebody, but have something for ourselves. And that's when we started Agentport. So effectively, we're an online tech company, if you will, that was providing marketing initiatives to the real estate industry. We launched a secondary product, which was creating automated property videos using still imagery, but then also to filtering in like generic videography that you could put into really spice up the video and ensure that it wasn't suburb specific, right? So we could use the same little video clips of somebody pouring coffee as an example, and we could filter that into these little property videos. So that was sort of the idea.
How long were you doing it for?
6 years.
6 years.
That was 6 years, yeah. It went quick as well. I look back on it, it doesn't feel like it was 6 years, but we had a real red hot go, and it was great. It was a great introduction to I guess entrepreneurship and actually having a proper go. Like we quit our jobs, we were doing that full time.
Did you quit? Like, did you ease into it, started on the side, and then quit, or was it like?
Yeah, we tried. So the business partner at the time, he had left his role, and it was important that he was out before me because he was actually the one developing the product alongside the techs, right? So he had to be all over it because we had to build something in order to have something to sell.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I think I'd sold the product to maybe 2 agencies in Melbourne or something like that, and it certainly wasn't paying our bills or our living expenses.
You knew it worked.
Yeah,
right?
I knew it
People
worked.
bought it.
So it was like time to make a decision. Like if we're going to get after this, we're going to have to go on to it full time. And so we both did that, took out a loan effectively, and just started doing that full time. And that went really, really quite well. It was slow to start, and then we disrupted the market.
Did you piss off realestate.com?
No, not them.
No,
I
exactly.
wish.
Yeah.
Might have made some money if we did that. No, we didn't piss them off. I don't think they even knew who we were. But look, we did disrupt the market for property videos, and at the time there was another company which was producing cinematic type videos, which is still really popular today. In fact, our product doesn't really have a place in the market anymore. So
Because yours was basically an alternative to a full.
Yeah, it was a more affordable alternative. Like if you weren't prepared to spend $400 or $500 on a professionally filmed real estate video, but we know that by having video and adding it to the likes of realestate.com and domain, just by having that play button there, you're going to increase the amount of people that actually view the listing. Like this is an important metric for real estate agents and vendors alike to get eyeballs on their property, right? So this was like one of the selling points. Yeah, so we disrupted that, and we kind of started taking a little bit of business off these players who had been in the space offering those videos. We ended up doing a joint venture with one of them, and that worked out quite well for a while. And look, in the end,
was there year-on-year growth? Like, did you see that?
Oh yeah. So we sort of just were like going like this, and then we just went bang, you know, and things were going pretty good. It was only ever myself, the business partner at the time, and his wife working with us as well. Anyway, like long story short, it didn't work out. Like it came crashing down. We tried to develop another product, which we'd budgeted X amount for, and we ended up spending this amount. Meanwhile, our product wasn't was taken out of the marketplace in a way, and we found ourselves basically dead in the water. So ran out of money, had debt, wasn't making any money, you know. So the company went into basically just got closed down. Yeah.
Looking back, if you had your time again, right, same product, what would you have done differently, do you think?
Yeah, I think we're missing a few things. So like our CEO now, Tom, have you met Tom? Tom Boomer? Yeah. So he's our CEO. He's a jet. I actually used to work with him at a buyer's advocacy firm as well. And one of the things that's ensured that we've been able to stay around is the close attention to our financials and our forecasting and all the rest of it that goes behind. I know nothing about it. Like, ask me to do anything on Excel, and I just can't use it. You know,
I can do a sum if.
Yeah. So I think having somebody to actually drive and help us understand the financial position of the company, what impacts our decisions are going to make, that would have been step one. And then I think also too is marketing. You know, like I was in charge of sales and marketing, and everything was done the old school way. You know, I just hit the phone. So it was just,
that.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. There was no sort of email marketing, no, you know, we weren't doing any, I mean, we were a tech company. We weren't doing any Facebook marketing. I mean, at the time it was massive, particularly for real estate agents.
That would have been early to get into.
Relatively, yeah. But would have, and that's the thing. Like, had I known what I know now, we would have. I said it to Tom, our CEO, before. I was like, man, if he was in the picture from the beginning, that company would probably still be around today and doing very well. But yeah, we're missing so much. First time at business, you know. It's like all I think is speak to enough people, sit in enough meetings. X of those are going to close. You know, and that was sort of
it's a basic conversion.
Yeah.
You know, it's the basic conversion of, I'll sit in front of enough people, make enough calls, it'll convert at this rate, I'll get enough, you know, X amount of clients, equals X amount of sales. Yeah. I still think like that.
Yeah. Which is a good thing. I think it's a powerful skill to have, right? Because not many people are prepared to actually just pick up the phone and just hit it until you get the outcome.
It's terrifying for people these days, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, man, that was, I think if we could get that right. Also too, I mean, it's kind of, when you look at it in hindsight, you basically realize that there was a problem at every corner, right? Like even our product, like our project management on the product is the amount that we sort of blew budget by, and the sort of blind enthusiasm that we had. It didn't actually matter at the time what was happening with the financials or with, you know, how well we're selling or attracting new clientele or the retention of those. It's like we're building this product and we just kept throwing money at it. And it turned out it's actually like it was a nice product, but it didn't get the traction again that we were looking for. And it was like at that point, you know, you can't keep borrowing money, and income had well and truly dried up. It was just kind of a natural death to it. Yeah.
Interesting. And then my learning.
Yeah.
How did it start?
Yeah. So Jason and Phil were two of the founders, and they're brothers. One of them's a student support director, and Jason's the sales director, currently living in Canada. Very good friends with our CEO, Tom. And though they had already been involved in a similar company in the short course education space prior to. And again, it just wasn't sort of working out. There are a few issues, and they just thought to themselves, we can do this better. You know, that was Jason and Phil's thinking. And they reached out to Tom, and Tom basically was like, yep, let's do it. I'd obviously had a very good relationship with Tom, and Tom called me and said, hey, this is where we're heading. We're, you know, putting the team together, and would love for you to be a part of it. And so
he'd seen you sell stuff. So
sorry?
He'd seen you sell stuff.
Yeah. So we got together, and it was the four of us. Simultaneously, Tom had a business coach at the time, Jules, who's our commercial director and also one of the founders. And he also got Jules involved. And so, yeah, it was like as soon as we incorporated the company, there were just a few loose ends. Again, I'd just sort of gotten back into a stable job, and had to tell my now wife, it's like, hey, like we're going again, you know. So
buckle up.
Yeah. And that's what we did, you know, and it was very quick. I think within maybe 4 weeks or 5 weeks, we used all of our money to get an office. Then we got the office, and we put people on, and sort of every dollar that we were able to generate, we just put straight back in and just kept growing it and growing it.
So talk to me. So you started in one of the director's his grandfather's house.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
In the garage, yeah, because we obviously didn't have an office, and
so like I'm picturing, yeah, that's how you open the garage.
Yeah. We
had walk-ins, a few desks, laptops.
We had a pool table, so there was a pool table which we I think Jason must have organised something, but it was this. Maybe organised it with a friend of his, and it was just this big timber slab that we put over it, and then we had like a co-working desk.
So you guys invented co-working, basically.
Yeah. It was the middle of winter, man. It was freezing cold. I remember I was like, you know, we're all wearing 3 jackets, and we're working from there all day and sort of into the night.
Was everyone selling to start? Like, was it like you guys taking the initial?
Everything. So, you know, for the doing the advertising, doing the consultations over the phone, enrolling students, and then, you know, very quickly, it was probably within a week that we had a tutor. You know, so the first vertical that we were selling and enrolling students into was animal care. So we knew somebody with that background who was able to tutor the students, and they were in immediately. And that was good, because I was like, okay, so now we know that we've got a product. We know that we can market it. We know that we can enroll students. We know that we can tutor it and deliver it. You know, it wasn't perfect, but we knew that we could do it. And then from there, it was just a matter of let's scale it. So as quickly as we could, it was like we had these numbers written on the board on, you know, sort of what we had to hit in order to get the bond and the deposit down on the office space. That's in the same building that we're in now. We're just on level 8. We started on level 7. We needed more space, so we just went upstairs and off you went. So it was, yeah, in many ways, a very, very quick, like, startup story. You know, the model is just works. And
so from starting, like end of year 1, how many staff did you have in that first year?
So we started in 2019, April, May, somewhere around there. And then when did COVID hit? It was 2020, right?
March
Here in
2020,
lockdowns. Yeah. I think we went into lockdown maybe with like 15 staff and came out with, I think it was like 45 or 50.
So I have a conspiracy that you guys started COVID. Get people studying from home.
That's a thing, you know, like obviously COVID was a nightmare for everybody, and they say you got to take your lucky breaks when you get them. I mean, we can't control these things, but, you know, we were hyper lucky in terms of what COVID did for our business was incredible, right? Like that's just the fact. That's how it played out for us. So yeah, I think we're kind of in a position to capitalize, and all of this luck sort of came by, and we were hardworking enough to capitalize on the luck and grow the team, you know.
What did you guys do differently? Obviously, the two directors that were previously at a similar business, what did they take from that and do differently? Like, why has this been so successful?
Yeah, I think it's actually in our delivery, right? Because we're a non-RTO, it means that like the space is largely unregulated, right? So people can get in and start a business, and there've been a hell of a lot of people since we started. You've seen them, like who have come and gone, and they're the classic fly-by-nighters because they're not focusing on the delivery. And so for us, I guess, yeah, with our competitors, what we saw was that a lot of them, you would have the same person that's tutoring the animal care certificate is the same person that's tutoring the photography certificate. It's the same person that's tutoring eyelash extensions, right? It just doesn't work. It's a terrible experience. It's like the student's not really able to rely on their tutors for answers. So for us, like our tutor team, firstly, it would have to be, it would probably have to be the biggest for our industry. I don't know that for sure, but I think it would have to be.
Yeah. Because you have 8?
Oh, more. No. Yeah, more, probably 12.
Oh.
Yeah, tutors.
Yeah, wow.
And they're all industry experts. You know, so they've done their time in the field that they're teaching, and I think that's been probably one of the biggest differences. And the team that we've got, you know, and just how it just works harmoniously together. Yeah.
You mentioned obviously now going into Canada, learning from the mistakes.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Look, I think
I just realised we're allowed to swear on this a little bit. What did you guys fuck up?
Look, I don't know that. I'm sure that there's a lot of stuff that we didn't get right. There's nothing specific. It's just you collapse your learning times. Do you know what I mean? Like we don't have to write new scripts. We don't have to understanding the BNPL space, which is a product that a lot of our students like to take advantage of because it allows them to pay off the course interest free for like $25 a month. You know, it's $25 a week. We didn't have to, you know, understand how those relationships work. It meant that we could reach out to people. We've got a track record. Businesses want to deal with us, you know, whereas when we got started, we had no relationships. We were just figuring everything out. Here it was like, here's the blueprint, take it over there and do the best. The biggest thing was learning like the cultural norms and differences and things like that.
And what have you noticed, you know, so far?
Look, I'm not at the coal face over there.
Yeah.
Can't even tell you, to be honest. Yeah. Jason would be.
We got the wrong bloke in here.
Yeah, you got the wrong bloke in here.
Jesus.
Look, I don't know. Yeah, I actually don't know. I think that they my experience has been that they love a chit chat. You know, like simple things like setting up simple business relationships here, right? Like I'd much prefer if things are moving and everybody's happy. It's like just email. Let's, you know, do what we need to do. Over there, everything is like a Zoom. So it's one of the challenges that I've had is setting up everything from a HR perspective to allow people, like to get all of our contracts in line, our OH&S policies and all that stuff. It was like it's all done at, you know, sort of 6 a.m., 7 a.m. our time here because that's their evening the day before. And they'll often just send you the wrong time. So it's like, man, I was getting calls at like 2 a.m., 1 a.m., 3 a.m. from people saying, hey, why aren't you in the meeting? It's like, I'm in Australia, it's just difficult.
Yeah. Interesting. And is this the first time you guys have tried to go into another market or like tried, courses in different countries?
We're in New Zealand.
Yeah.
But that's kind of, it's very similar to Australia,
thing.
right? Yeah. We'd done some work in the UK, but that market, you got to pick your battles, and when we were testing markets, we just saw for a number of different reasons that Canada's probably right for us. But that's sort of the extent of it, yeah.
Talk to me about, I think there's always something different in business owners, right? There's this, you've given it a go a few times. There's always been that hunger and desire to do it and to be successful. Do you ever think about what's shaped that, like previous experiences or certain things in your upbringing, like what's made you this, hungry go-getter?
Yeah, don't know. Not really sure. I mean, it's always been there. I was never good at school, right? So I just remember in school, I struggled quite a lot with math, science, anything quite technical. I knew I loved the people side, right? I mean, most kids do.
Haven't you had to find the area under a curve recently with maths and, use Pythagoras and that sort of stuff?
I had to use it?
Hasn't come into play in business life? It hasn't come into
play. No, not for me, man. I
think it's all pretty irrelevant, to be honest.
Tom's the numbers guy. And, I think that's one of the things is having the right people in the right spots. But I think also too, I remember reading, because I wasn't so into the traditional education path, and then I realized, okay, well, if that's not it, then it has to be something else. And I just started reading all those traditional books people speak about and you hear about, like How to Win Friends and Influence People, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's like, as I started to consume that information, it was kind of like a weight off the shoulders, because all of those books, the common theme is that everything is in your control, right? And if it's not in your control, don't focus on it. Don't worry about it. Only focus on the things in your control. And so that really just kind of resonated with me. It made sense. It was simple, but it made sense. And I thought that's good, So if I can really just harness that and ensure that I'm the controller of my destiny and it is me in control, all I need to do is figure out a way to use my strengths to my advantage and good things are going to come. So that was really it.
Has there been one book or one piece of advice that you've ever had that's stayed with you that you always remember?
Probably that. Probably that. I think it's main
control the controllables.
Yeah, your locus of control, I think is the terminology in the 7 Habits book, which is a complicated book actually. So I've read it a couple of times. I still don't fully get it, but what I needed to get out of it was there, right? And that is just, if you can control it. If you can't, let it go. I think it's just the basics, showing up to things, do what you say you're going to do, do it with positivity and enthusiasm, and good things are going to come, I
always talk about the 10 things that require zero talent.
Oh, yeah?
Like how important they are, like showing up on time, the right attitude.
Can you give me the 10?
Oh, not off the top of my head. Not off the top of my head. There's 2
what
of
are
them.
Your favourite?
There's 2 of them for you.
Yeah.
It's the little things, right?
Yeah,
so people look at
agree.
it and say, talent and, when we look at what makes a good staff member, a good salesperson, a lot of the time it's not, it's the fundamentals and the things that require absolutely zero talent, that if you do those things, you will be successful. Like if you rock up to work early, if you come with an open mind, the right attitude, all those sort of things, you will be more successful than the person who is exceptionally talented and skilled on the phone, but doesn't listen, doesn't come to work on time.
Yeah, it's so true. It's funny because, you hear other people say it or you listen to it in podcasts. I remember particularly if you're still sort of trying to find the traction from doing those things and nothing's really taken off yet. It's like, how many times can I hear people tell me to show up? And it's like, but it's actually true. It's like, it sounds basic, but most people can't do it or don't do it. You know, it's like, oh no, but I was sick that day, or, you know, oh, I slept in, or it's like, it's this and that. It's like, it's just, if you do it and if you do it with enthusiasm, people are drawn to that enthusiasm. Do you know what I mean? And so if you can show up and you know, have a smile on your face and do it consistently over time, like people are going to just, they're going to remember that, and they're going to feed into it. Like, I think it's massive.
100%.
That's all you have to do. Like,
I was even listening, like, obviously as a podcaster, I listen to fellow podcasters, you know, that are on my level, maybe a little bit above. Modern Wisdom podcast. I don't know if you've listened to it before.
I haven't listened to that. No.
You know, he was talking about, you know, when I think it was he'd been going for like 4 or 5 years, and then there was this one moment in time where 95% of his subscribers started listening to him, right? Because I think he was on The Game, Alex Hormozi's podcast, right? And he sort of exploded.
Yeah, wow.
From there. But at the end of the day, he was saying the statistics, I think it's 90% of podcasts don't make it past episode 3. And then and then from that 10%, 90% of those don't make it past episode 23.
Wow. Yeah, see, like that's it. You imagine if you just kept doing it. Gary Vee, I mean, I struggle to watch his long format stuff personally, but I mean, you got to respect what he's done, you know, and like he just speaks about that. He's like, I've been doing this for 20 years before I got however long it was. Yeah. It was a marathon. He was just putting content out, didn't stop, and you know, look at him now. So
yeah, crazy. Well, final question. I love throwing a bit of a curveball, and I'll share what my answer is to this question as well. But if you could have lunch with one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Yeah, I don't know. No one really cares. For dinner, a long lunch is actually my favorite thing to do in the whole world.
I know.
So it's like, I kind of like just doing it with people I already know. I'll probably just pick a mate. Seriously, yeah. I probably would. Yeah, that's what I'd do.
Like Jesus, like, I don't know.
Nah.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Well, I said probably a bad one for you. Well, I said Hitler when I first thought of it, but it was just the first thing that came to mind. Surely someone springs to mind. You know, anybody alive right now, Donald Trump.
Or dead, yeah.
Yeah, or dead. Or dead. You'd rather have lunch with me over Donald Trump.
I've always thought it'd be like weird to sit down opposite Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Just like it would be
to pick his brain on things, or like to be like, did you do it?
No, just to see what he. I don't know, just to see what he's like. You know, yeah. Him, Jordan is like an obvious one that I'd like to, but I mean, I always think about it when you're asked that question. It's like, how good could that lunch actually be? Because he just doesn't want to be there. You know what I mean? Like, he's watching the clock trying to get out. So, yeah, I don't know.
But it's interesting, right? Like, you know, I think, and this goes back to, I guess, you know, part of the reason for the podcast, right? Like, a lot of people will look at super successful people like business owners, and they'll be like, you know, I can never be that, or, you know, that, like, at the end of the day, they might just be a normal person. Do you know what I mean? Like you. Guy, you know,
running. I'm not quite normal. No.
But yeah, no, you're probably right. No, you probably wouldn't want to force anyone to be in the room with you. I'll come instead if that's your choice.
Yeah, let's go. That's right.
What are you doing now? All right, let's go. But I really appreciate you coming on, man. It was
appreciate it.
Super fun.
It's been great, man. Appreciate it.
It's been awesome sort of being a part of the journey, following it from close, and
definitely.
Seeing it all happen. So appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me on, and yeah, it's always been a pleasure working with you as well, man. So
shout out to our main sponsor again, Ethos360 Recruitment.
Right. Kings of the game.
Oh, that's good. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to The Leap. If you enjoyed this episode, give us a follow, or even better, share it with someone who you think will get value out of it. Big thanks to our main sponsor, Ethos360 Recruitment. It was actually just us sponsoring ourselves.
This podcast has been produced by The Content Engine.
We got the remedy. Giants. Selling the shit we buying.